Hello and welcome. I'm Lloyd. This is the Dressing Gown Diary, and this is the preview of the 2017 Autumn Series. I won't waste time talking about how epic the Lions tour was. It really was a special occasion and a draw, probably on balance. Would it be fair? Anyone Kiwi will say definitely not. The Lions led for 3 minutes of the whole series, but they found a way to grind it out. Gatland showed a way of playing that he hadn't shown before, but then you read Sean O'Brien come out and say that was nothing to do with the coaching staff, it was all down to the players. We'll never really know, but what did happen, it was an amazing tour. The Lions pulled together, produced an electric result, and I pray for the future of this great institution, which is the Lions. Let's move on. So what have we got coming up this autumn? Let's start with England, with where they think they are. They've got the Argentinians first up, follow up with Australia, and then finish the series with Samoa. Only 3 big wins will really cement the way forward for Eddie Jones. He's made some changes in the first international against Argentina, and he will use this series to try some players out, look at different combinations. But realistically, they will expect to be putting away the Australians easily, Samoa as well. And the Argentinians first up will present a little bit of a challenge, but shouldn't be too difficult. Ireland, one of the other big European teams. They've got 3 matches this autumn. They're playing South Africa in the first game, and then Fiji followed up with a final game against Argentina. You'd expect them to put Fiji and Argentina away. The big game will be against South Africa, but which South Africa will show up? Clearly the results they've had against New Zealand in their 2 latter parts of the Rugby Championship, getting absolutely dispatched one week and then losing by 1 point 2 weeks later. Real test for South African rugby about what team shows up in Europe. But for me, I think 2 wins is a minimum for Ireland, but realistically you've got to expect 3. Scotland, big autumn for them. Gregor Townsend, great scalp in the summer, taking down Australia. So they are opening up against Samoa. They've got New Zealand second up, and then finish with Australia. Gregor Townsend will clearly be hoping for some progress from the way Scotland have played, their attacking threat. But Samoa shouldn't really present much of a challenge for the Scottish attack. New Zealand, it's a massive game. Can Scotland get close? Can they push New Zealand close? I think realistically that would be a result if they're in touch within 55, 60 minutes on the clock, something in that range. But I expect New Zealand to stroll through by the time the final whistle comes. They're always very strong in the final 20 minutes. And against Australia, that's really the biggest game for Scotland this autumn international series. That is the game they have to target for a win. Big opportunity for Scotland and Gregor Townsend. Moving on, Wales. Wales have an opportunity in this autumn. They've come back from the Lions tour. Jonathan Davis was unbelievable in the Lions tour, cutting a hot knife through butter through the very tight Kiwi defence. But there have been some injuries. The back row has changed in complexity. Who's involved now? Certainly there are question marks for me over Dan Biggar of how he plays. Question marks over whether Lee Halfpenny should really play at fullback when Liam Williams was so electric there during the Lions series. I prefer them to switch around, and maybe that's what we'll see. Some more loose play. But Wales have a massive series. They're the only team this autumn that are playing the big 3. They open up against Australia. Well, let me tell you this. Wales haven't won the opening fixture of an autumn international series since 2002. They've gone 11 games losing that first match. They always open up against a big team. They always start very slowly. They're on the back of 12 losses against Australia. Their last win against Australia was in 2008. It's enormous that the length of time that a team can dominate, such as Australia against Wales. Wales have come so close on so many occasions, losing by 3, 4, 5. It's been one score, but they can't find a way through. The press coming out talking about how Australia are expecting Wales to play big front play. I don't think they will with the team they've picked. I think they'll look for some more running rugby and move the ball a bit quicker, but only time will tell. They follow the series up. They have Georgia in the second game. Georgia are obviously a big European team coming through. Shouldn't present too many opportunities, but that will depend on how Wales perform in the first game. I'd expect to see some squad rotation, but if they play poorly against Australia, Gatland will be forced to perhaps stick with his stronger side. Then New Zealand roll, and the big back bus rolls into town in Cardiff for the third game. Again, it's similar to the Scottish situation. I don't think Wales can really have realistic hopes of beating New Zealand, but they want to tie them close, keep it tight, see how they go. You never know, in the last 5 minutes they might scrape a win. And it finishes the series against South Africa. So I think for Wales, 2 is a minimum of par, 2 wins. 3 would be progress. That 3 I would anticipate would be a win against Australia, South Africa and Georgia, and hold tight against New Zealand. But that is quite a big ask. Now, Freddie's flutter for the first weekend, I predict backing Ireland at -5 against South Africa in the first game in the handicap bet. You can get even money on that. Have a little flutter. Enjoy the weekend. This is the autumn series are always superb. There's so much rugby on. You can spend all day watching it. And I hope you do. Over and out. Thank you.